Picture this. You walk into a room, something goes wrong, and instantly, boom, fingers are pointing right at you. And honestly, the worst part isn't even the blame itself, is it? It's that visceral, physical reaction. Your mouth goes completely dry, your heart starts hammering, and your brain is just sprinting in circles, desperately trying to defend yourself.
So you inevitably end up asking yourself, why are you always at fault? And look, I really want to validate what you're feeling right now. More often than not, it's absolutely not because you actually did it. And it's sure not because anyone bothered to check the facts. It's simply because, well, you were there. And it's easy. You've essentially become the default scapegoat, and man, that is just exhausting. When we're put in this totally unfair position, most of us naturally default to one of two failing strategies: defending yourself versus absorbing the blame. We either defend ourselves fiercely, which unfortunately just signals to the blamer that we're completely rattled and easy to control, or we take the path of least resistance and just absorb the blame to keep the peace. But here's the reality check. Staying quiet just trains them to keep targeting you. So, we desperately need a new approach. We need to adopt the persona of a mediator to objectively address these blame-shifting dynamics. Think of it like this concept, the leaky bucket. When someone is constantly blaming you, they are essentially handing you their leaking bucket of fear to avoid facing their own failures. Instead of fixing the holes in their own bucket, they look for someone else to hold it. Once you realize you're just holding their leaking bucket of fear, you can finally step out of the emotional crossfire. Because honestly, nobody wants to hold someone else's dirty bucket, right?
Okay, let's dive into this. To permanently change this dynamic, we're going to use this 5-step calm communication framework. Step 1, pause. Step 2, name the pattern. Step 3, ask probing questions. Step 4, own specifics. And Step 5, set the line. This is an absolutely crucial, actionable toolkit to stop being the target.
Step 1, the calm pause. Returning to calm, intentional stillness completely destroys their momentum, kind of like ignoring a toddler throwing a tantrum.
Moving right into step 2, instead of defending against a specific accusation, act like that mediator and name the larger pattern. You're going to say this exactly. I've noticed that when things go wrong, I'm usually the first person you come to. Try it. It completely shifts the room's energy from you being on trial to suddenly examining their larger habit.
Then we hit step 3, which is where you ask probing questions to reveal the lack of substance behind unfair accusations. You literally just look at them and ask, what would you have liked me to do differently? This specific question forces the blamer to pivot from vague, emotional accusations to concrete facts. You don't even have to raise your voice. This simple question just lets the truth fall out entirely on its own.
Now, step 4 is vital. This is about practicing ownership of only your specific mistakes. Think of it like sorting laundry into my pile, the stuff you own, and their pile, the stuff you leave alone. If you made a specific mistake, like you dropped a ball in a task, put it in your pile and own it without excuses. But their poor planning, their emotional reaction, no way. That stays in their pile. You aren't responsible for washing everything just because you happen to be standing next to the washing machine.
To put that into perspective, think about the disparity between your actual fault versus unfair blame. Let's say your actual fault is, 5%? You must absolutely never apologize for the whole 100%, when only that tiny fraction is your genuine mistake. If you take the remaining 95% of unfair blame, they learn they can just push their whole load of failures onto you forever. So own your tiny fraction, state it clearly, and firmly close the door on the rest. And finally, step 5, setting the immovable line. This is where you calmly communicate that you will not accept blame for things outside your pile, becoming an immovable wall. Now, a quick heads up. Expect them to push harder at first to test your new boundaries. Actually, scratch that. They will push harder. They're testing to see if this new mediator persona is real. Stay steady. Standing firm provides the absolute ultimate clarity on whether they deserve space in your life moving forward. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with something to really think about. What is the hardest part of being blamed for you? Is it staying calm in the moment? Finding the right words? Or maybe it's that quiet doubt that creeps in later on. Remember, your true value is not tied to someone else's desperate need to blame you. Make the decision today that you are not the problem and walk into your next room completely free.